All right, welcome back. It's late March 1862. There wasn't really a whole lot of action in Virginia last time, and basically this time I've restructured the whole sort of organizational defense. Um, Basically, what's happening is Beauregard will, of course, for the time being, be remaining in Manassas. Longstreet is a corps, and Smith is another corps attached to Beauregard. Um, Johnson is also a corps attached to Beauregard. And Johnson will be going with Winder's division to Culpeper, and that is to protect against basically the Union moving through Stafford and then on to Culpeper, and basically bypassing Manassas. Actually, as you can see, both Longstreet, you can't see it there, um, Smith, and maybe you can see it here. But anyways, we can tell it. But basically, Smith, Beauregard, and Longstreet all can march to the sound of the gun of Culpeper. Um, Further, Holmes was actually going to return um, from Kentucky and come back out to Virginia and take over the position by Albert Sidney Johnston's army. And Holmes will become a core of Beauregard, and I'll consider what to do with Johnston at the time. For the time being, um, and actually I think this is probably going to be a pretty permanent decision, Jackson's going to um, go west and basically take over the defense of the area that will be facing Grant. I'm having to restructure the entire sort of Kentucky Tennessee line. I consider attacking Paducah with kind of everything we have, but with the blizzard and us no longer having rail access to it, it isn't really realistic. So what is happening is this: Polk will remain in Columbus with basically what was left of Paducah's small division, and then the Columbus division, and that becomes almost a full division. Bragg will meanwhile rail over and join Polk's force. Um, the First Tennessee Cavalry had established a position at Fort Henry last time, and we're going to send over um, the division from oh yeah um, from Nashville, um, and also from Bowling Green. So two divisions will arrive at Fort Henry. Cheatham will begin to form a new force in Nashville. For the time being, Fort Donelson is basically left undefended, but I don't think the Union has enough forces to do a naval assault on it right now. Our Navy is actually going to retreat back to Memphis. We can see what they have. They have 3 ironclads and 5 timberclads. In addition, they have another ironclad on the way. I've laid in a sea mine here where the Union forces are. We in Memphis are going to have very shortly another 2 ironclads. Well, 2 ironclads are ready, and then 2 more ironclads will become ready this turn. So what rounds out what's happening is we will maintain a force at Bowling Green, a decent sized division. There's a force that's a small brigade will remain here in Barron. I'm going to attempt to push out this small cavalry force by pulling Hardee out on offense, and then Johnston's Army of the Tennessee will remain on defense. And our partisan unit here will actually just resupply, and this one here will just remain and gain back control. I'm sending the other partisan unit back up to Clarksburg, Kentucky, and then it's actually going to eventually move over and attempt to cut the railway. As you can see here, just kind of referencing back to Virginia, the railway is pretty much destroyed in 5 locations. Having said that, the Union does now have complete control um, over all of the key towns along the line. One more point. I've pulled out these heavy artillery pieces, and they're actually in the city on passive posture. And that's going to give them a higher priority during replacement. I actually just purchased the replacements for them. And Stewart's newly formed cavalry division will go to Strasbourg and hold the depot for the time being. So it's a pretty large maneuver going on, really finishing up in Virginia and then going on in Kentucky and Tennessee. I'm going to see what Shelby can do out here at Fort Leavenworth. He's a 644. Let's try it out. He's facing two very worn down divisions, and they've also captured. They also have our captured supply of horse artillery. So it's snowing. It's not a blizzard, so let's. I'm going to try it out, and we're going to see what happens. Otherwise, meanwhile, I'm kind of just continuing to maintain control over the area. Out west, there's mud here, so Shelby, our Sibley's force, will have to remain in East Socorro. Socorro, I think that's how you say it. Okay, finally, I'm building a supply wagon, and I'm going to need to send that on to Tuscan as they're slowly having a reduced amount of supply. They're down to 71%. We are trying to develop the territory, which I think should help with supply, possibly. So they do produce some supplies. You can see it looks like 8 a month. This one as well. So there is some supply being produced, and they're pulling in 6 from the area. All right, let's run the turn and see what happens. I don't think Grant is going to move, but hey, anything's possible. Okay, pretty interesting turn. There wasn't any battles really in Virginia, so we have officially established a line that runs from Fredericksburg through Winchester and then down to Strasbourg. This is not March to the Sound of the Gun. What I'm hoping to do with Stuart is, when the weather is great, kind of come through up here and sweep through the Union forces before all the railroads get fixed, and be able to maintain control over the railroad for as long as possible to disrupt Union movement. You can see that the Union now has a very, very large force, really both in Alexandria and a pretty large one in Fairfax as well. The good news is Johnston's forces have basically recovered, and as you can see here, the reserve artillery, or the artillery support, is also almost recovered. So we basically are in a sort of more or less just a defensive position, and I don't like it. I like being on the move, as the Confederacy, but at this point, now that the Union's been able to amass such large forces, we need to have a line that is defensible. Here's Butler. Looks like he's moved forward a little bit from Fort Monroe. We do have Magruder's small division there. Okay, so out in Kentucky, nothing happened. There was actually no battle. Schurz just retreated, and we have Grant did not move. He is recovering, and we have set up our new line. Jackson will arrive in 10 days. So there is a positive movement in the area, in that in one more turn, the Provisional Army of Arkansas will be unlocked, So we're going to be able to basically move that over, and that's probably will form Fort Henry. I'm actually sending Clyburn to Fort Henry. He's going to be the general. He's such a good defensive general, and that is a really important defensive post. Pope has popped up, as you can see, and you can see that Grant is also recovering. Okay, so there's one thing I forgot. I actually forgot to mention that I moved McCulloch's force forward. So McCulloch arrived probably about day 8, and then actually Lyon's 2 divisions crossed the river, and there was a battle on day. Let's see, what is that? That's day 15, and we did win it. Union took about 1,000 more casualties, but even more significantly, their forces are pretty much spent. So we also have Van Dorn, who is 2 days away from arriving in Springfield to reinforce the militia unit. Out in Leavenworth, you can see that there was a battle. Actually, you can't see that, but I'm going to show it to you. Here is the battle. It was a Confederate victory, and some of their units were destroyed. We did not take the town, and they were reinforced in the turn. So basically Shelby did a good job. I think that was you got to be considering their concerns of cavalry force taking on infantry, causing 2-to-1 casualties. So we captured 17 companies, so about 1,700 men. So that was, and we captured 10 war supply. So that explains why we're getting the 2 national morale. They had lots of forces that surrendered. Having said that, we're now down to half supply and basically half cohesion. So I don't think we're going to have enough to realistically attack. To realistically attack again. I didn't see any other movement. No movement at all out west. I did want to mention one other thing. In the last turn, I chose to raise taxes. I need the money, so I'm suffering the 2 national morale. But we won. We got back 3 national morale in battle. So yeah, you always want to guard your national morale, but I mean you can't. Sometimes you choose to not make decisions and just let your recruits sit there because you can't afford to pay, have enough money to get them going. All right, let's take a look at the decisions. We did a bunch of Copperhead volunteers, or kind of like militia units through decisions. We burned the depot in Jefferson, so that is a plus. And then we also did an ambush here. So that, let's see, change. So that gives us changes from regional decisions. I think that gets us the 2 national morale. Well, here's 1 too. So, so the sea mine exploded and damaged several ships. It may definitely make sense to actually reverse now and go on the attack. One thing that's good about this, we can actually see the value of these forces. So you can see their ironclad has the potential of 113 power. The Ozark is currently 66. Looks like the Indianola was where the sea mine exploded, so it's barely afloat. Look at the timber-clad squadrons. They're not as powerful as the ironclads, but still can be quite significant. This force took some hits going down chasing our force, chasing our navy. So we've drafted citizens in several locations. Our force took some hits from bad weather. Yeah, so we bombarded it. Hit 14. We landed 10 hits and suffered 14 in return. There we go. We captured 1,000 rifles and 1,700 prisoners. I landed 10 bombarded. We landed 2 hits and suffered 7 in return. This is mostly movement. Here's the battle on day 15 that we saw. We have several brigades ready, several ironclads ready. That's okay, so we decided to raise taxes. Okay, so yeah, we're now at national morale of 124. I want to see where the Union is after that. The Union is at 78. So we're gaining 55 points a turn. They're gaining 43. So still decent advantage there. So pretty good turn for the Confederacy. We will not probably be able to take Fort Leavenworth at this point. One thing that is interesting is I don't really know how much is in Nicole's division here. So there's an opportunity here to attack, or at least try to attack Lion. I think it's worth a try. There's really yeah, but I don't know if I'll actually be able to move on Jefferson or not. Okay, so I will see you next time.